Imagine you are walking down a busy street. The sun is shining and people are all around you. Suddenly, someone bumps into you. It was an accident, but the person immediately yells, "Watch where you're going." Your heart starts to race. You feel angry and upset. You want to shout back at the person, to defend yourself, to make them feel bad for what they did. But instead of reacting, you stop, you take a deep breath and remain calm. You don't say anything, you just keep walking. In that moment, you realize something important. You didn't let the anger take over. You didn't let the situation control your feelings, you stayed in control. You chose silence, and that silence gave you power. This is the first step to mastering yourself, the power of silence. Many people believe that silence means weakness, but the truth is, silence is a sign of strength. When someone says something hurtful or rude, your natural instinct might be to respond right away. You want to defend yourself, to prove that you are right. But when you stop and stay silent, you give yourself time. Time to think, time to breathe, time to decide if the situation is worth reacting to. This is where your true strength lies. When you react to something, you let that thing control you. If someone insults you, and you respond with anger, you are giving that person power over your emotions. But when you remain silent, you take that power back. You are no longer controlled by their words, you are the one in control. In the case of the person who bumped into you, by staying silent, you didn't let their anger affect your peace. They wanted you to feel upset, to react, to get angry. But when you didn't react, you confused them. They were expecting a fight, but instead, they got calm. And in that silence, you became the one with power. Now, you might be thinking, what if I stay silent and the person thinks I'm weak? That is a common concern. Many people believe that staying quiet makes them look scared or passive. But the truth is, when you choose silence, you are showing self-control. You are choosing not to give in to your emotions. Silence is not weakness, it is wisdom, it is strength. Think about a time when you reacted quickly to something. Maybe someone said something rude to you, and you immediately felt the need to reply, to defend yourself. Afterward, how did you feel? Did your reaction help the situation, or did it make things worse? Most of the time, reacting in the heat of the moment only makes things more difficult. It can lead to regret, hurt feelings, and misunderstandings. But when you stay silent, you avoid all of that. You give yourself space to think and respond wisely. John, the main character in our story, learns this lesson one day when a stranger bumps into him and yells. At first, he feels the rush of anger, his heart beats faster, and his fists clench. But instead of reacting, he remembers the power of silence. He takes a deep breath, smiles, and walks away. The anger starts to fade, and he feels calm. He realizes that by not reacting, he's in control of the situation. He hasn't let the stranger's words affect him. This is the lesson that John learns: silence is power. When you choose to stay silent, you choose to protect your peace. You choose not to let the outside world control your emotions. You decide how you will respond, and that is true strength. The power of silence doesn't mean you never speak. It doesn't mean you let people walk all over you. It means that you choose when to speak and when to stay quiet. You speak with purpose, not with emotion. You respond thoughtfully, not impulsively. In many situations, especially when emotions are high, silence gives you a chance to think. It allows you to process what is happening and decide how you want to respond. When you react too quickly, you may say things you don't mean or make decisions you later regret. But when you pause, you give yourself time to calm down and respond in a way that you can be proud of. If you want to practice the power of silence in your own life, start by paying attention to your reactions. The next time someone says something rude or hurtful to you, pause. Don't speak immediately, take a deep breath, count to 5. Think about how you want to respond. Often, you will find that silence is the best response. It gives you time to decide if the situation is worth your energy and if your words will make a difference. Silence is not just about not speaking, it's about choosing not to let your emotions control you. It's about taking a step back and deciding how you want to react. And when you do this, you will find that you are more in control of your life, your emotions, and your relationships. By practicing silence, you begin to master yourself. You stop letting the world push your buttons. You stop reacting to every little thing that happens. And in that silence, you find peace, you find power, you find control. Remember, silence is not weakness, it is strength, it is power. And it is the first step to mastering yourself. John was at work one afternoon, feeling the pressure of a big project he had been working on for weeks. He had spent long hours on it, carefully checking every detail. When it was finally time for his boss to review it, John felt both nervous and excited. But instead of praise, his boss gave him harsh feedback in front of his colleagues. The words felt like a slap in the face. John's heart started to race. He felt embarrassed, frustrated, and even a little angry. His first instinct was to defend himself, to explain why he had done things the way he did, to fight back. But then he remembered what he had learned before: the power of non-reaction. John could feel his emotions rising. He wanted to react, to speak up and tell his boss why his feedback wasn't fair. But instead, he took a deep breath. He reminded himself that reacting immediately wouldn't help. In fact, it might make things worse. He focused on staying calm, choosing not to let his emotions control him. This was a moment to practice what he had learned, to stay silent and not react impulsively. When John kept his face calm, it made a huge difference. He didn't frown or show anger, even though he felt it inside. He simply looked at his boss with steady eyes, took a breath, and stayed quiet. This control over his face was important because, often, our faces reveal more than we think. When we react with anger or frustration, our faces show it. But when we control our facial expressions, we send a message of confidence and strength. In that moment, John realized something important. Controlling his face helped him control the situation. It didn't mean he didn't care about the feedback. It meant he was choosing to stay calm and not let his emotions make him act in a way he would regret later. He understood that his facial expression could either make things worse or help him stay in control. By keeping his face calm, he showed that he was not shaken by the criticism. This gave him power, even in a difficult situation. The key to emotional control is knowing that your first reaction is not always the best one. When we feel angry, frustrated, or upset, our first instinct is to act. We want to shout, to explain ourselves, to defend our actions. But reacting without thinking often leads to regret. When we take a moment to pause, breathe, and think, we give ourselves the chance to respond with wisdom instead of emotion. John learned this the hard way. In the past, he had reacted too quickly, saying things he didn't mean, or even making the situation worse. But now, he understood the power of non-reaction. When you stay calm and in control, you make better decisions. You don't let emotions cloud your judgment. Instead of reacting impulsively, you choose how to respond with intention. John decided to respond to his boss, but instead of being defensive, he was calm and thoughtful. "Thank you for your feedback," he said. "Could you help me understand what I can improve?" By responding in this way, he showed that he was open to learning and growing. His boss was surprised by John's calmness. Instead of getting defensive, John used the opportunity to ask for more specific feedback. This turned a negative situation into a chance to improve. It was a powerful move that showed his emotional maturity. Controlling your emotions is not easy, especially in difficult situations. But with practice, it becomes easier. The next time you face criticism, conflict, or any situation that triggers strong emotions, remember that you don't have to react immediately. Take a moment to breathe. Think about the best way to respond. This simple practice can change the way you handle challenges. Think about how you would normally react in a stressful situation. Do you tend to raise your voice or get defensive? Or do you stay calm and composed? If you find that you often react too quickly, try to slow down. Give yourself time to think before responding. It's important to remember that you don't have to defend yourself or prove anything in every situation. Sometimes, the best response is to listen, think, and then speak with purpose. John's experience at work showed him the value of emotional control, by choosing not to react impulsively. He not only avoided a conflict, but also gained the respect of his boss and colleagues. His ability to stay calm under pressure made him a stronger, more confident person. This skill, which he had practiced in small situations, helped him handle bigger challenges with ease. Mastering the power of non-reaction means that you take control of your emotions instead of letting them control you. When you can stay calm, no matter what happens around you, you become more powerful. Your ability to respond thoughtfully, rather than reacting impulsively, gives you the strength to face any situation with confidence. Emotional control isn't about being perfect. It's about being aware of your emotions and choosing how to respond. It's about understanding that your first reaction is not always the best, and that you can take a moment to choose a better way to respond. With practice, you will find that you handle challenges more gracefully and with greater strength. So, the next time you feel your emotions rising, take a breath, pause, and think. Remember, you don't have to react right away. By controlling your emotions and your facial expressions, you can master the power of non-reaction and become the calm, confident person you want to be. As John continued practicing the power of non-reaction, he started noticing some amazing changes in his life. His ability to stay calm and not react impulsively began to make a big difference. At work, he found that he was handling stress much better. His relationships with his colleagues improved because he was no longer getting caught up in small disagreements. He wasn't reacting to every little thing that happened. Instead, he was learning to control his emotions, and this brought him peace and clarity. John realized that mastering non-reaction wasn't just about staying calm in difficult moments, it was also about protecting his energy. In life, there are many things that can trigger strong emotions. People can say things that hurt us, situations can go wrong, and things don't always turn out the way we expect. It's easy to let these things control our emotions and actions. But John learned that by not reacting to everything, he could save his energy for the things that really mattered: his goals, his dreams, and his well-being. Non-reaction allowed John to focus on what was truly important. He stopped wasting time and energy on things that didn't matter in the long run. For example, when a colleague made a rude comment, instead of reacting with anger, John simply stayed silent and walked away. Later, he realized that the comment didn't change anything about his work or his value as a person. By not reacting, he saved himself from a lot of unnecessary stress. This is where non-reaction becomes key to success and personal growth. When you learn not to react, you stop letting outside circumstances control your emotions. You become more focused on your own path and less distracted by what other people say or do. Instead of getting caught up in every argument or criticism, you start thinking more clearly. You begin to see that your peace and your goals are much more important than responding to every little trigger. Over time, John noticed that his confidence grew as he practiced non-reaction. When people criticized him or tried to provoke him, he no longer felt the need to defend himself. He had learned that his worth wasn't tied to other people's opinions. He didn't need to react to feel good about himself. He knew that staying calm and collected was a sign of strength, not weakness. John's growth wasn't just about how he responded to others. It was also about how he responded to himself. He realized that by controlling his reactions, he was building emotional discipline. Emotional discipline is important because it helps you make better decisions, especially in difficult situations. When you react with emotion, you may say or do things you regret later. But when you respond with thoughtfulness and control, you make better choices. You can think clearly and act in a way that aligns with your values and goals. One of the most powerful lessons John learned was that not reacting is actually a form of self-care. In today's fast-paced world, people are often busy, stressed, and overwhelmed. There are so many things happening around us that can make us feel anxious, angry, or frustrated. But when you practice non-reaction, you protect your peace. You stop giving away your energy to things that don't deserve it. By choosing not to react, you focus your energy on the things that truly matter: your health, your happiness, and your personal growth. Non-reaction also helped John in his work life. By staying calm, he was able to think more clearly and make better decisions. In meetings, instead of getting defensive when someone disagreed with him, he listened carefully and responded calmly. This helped him build better relationships with his colleagues and gain their respect. People started to see him as a person who could handle pressure with grace. They admired his ability to stay calm even when things were difficult. The more John practiced non-reaction, the more he realized that this skill wasn't just useful in difficult situations, it was a key to personal growth. When you stop reacting to everything around you, you start growing. You become more self-aware, more focused, and more at peace with yourself. You stop letting external events control your mood and start choosing your own path. By mastering non-reaction, John was able to grow in ways he hadn't expected. He became more patient, more understanding, and more capable of handling challenges with calm and confidence. At the end of the day, John understood that success wasn't just about achieving external goals. It was also about finding peace within himself. When you practice non-reaction, you take control of your emotions. You stop reacting to every little thing that happens, and instead, you focus on what really matters. You build emotional strength. And this strength helps you overcome obstacles, achieve your goals, and live a more fulfilling life. John's journey showed him that the key to success and personal growth wasn't in reacting to every challenge or criticism. It was in mastering his own emotions. By choosing not to react, he was able to protect his peace, focus on his goals, and become the best version of himself. As you continue on your own journey, remember this: non-reaction is not about being passive or ignoring the world around you. It's about choosing how to respond. It's about staying in control of your emotions and not letting outside circumstances dictate how you feel. The more you practice non-reaction, the more you will grow. You will become stronger, more focused, and more capable of handling life's challenges with calm and confidence. So, the next time you face a difficult situation, remember John's story. Take a moment to breathe, stay calm, and choose your response. By doing so, you will unlock the power of non-reaction and begin to see how it can transform your life for the better. Throughout the story, we've seen how John learned the power of non-reaction. He started by facing small challenges, like an angry stranger on the street or criticism at work, and gradually, he discovered that not reacting wasn't about being passive or ignoring what happened. Instead, it was about choosing to stay calm, control his emotions, and protect his peace. This simple act of not reacting became a powerful tool in his life. When you choose not to react, you take control of your emotions instead of letting them control you. In a world where it is easy to get caught up in drama, arguments, or misunderstandings, non-reaction gives you the ability to rise above these situations. Instead of being dragged into every conflict or negative situation, you can step back and decide how you want to respond, not out of anger or fear, but with calm and purpose. John's journey shows us that mastering non-reaction is not about ignoring the world around you. It is not about avoiding problems or pretending everything is fine when it isn't. It is about making a conscious decision to not let your emotions run wild and to take a moment to think before you speak or act. By doing this, you protect your peace and maintain control over your actions. You can respond wisely instead of reacting impulsively. This skill of non-reaction is a powerful tool for personal growth. When you master your emotions, you build emotional strength. This strength helps you handle stressful situations with calmness and clarity. Instead of getting overwhelmed or reacting negatively, you become more focused on what really matters: your goals, your relationships, and your well-being. You stop letting small moments of frustration or anger steal your peace and energy. Instead, you preserve your emotional energy for the things that truly matter in your life. By practicing non-reaction, you also become more resilient. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and moments that test our patience. People will hurt us, misunderstand us, and say things that make us feel angry or upset. But when you learn to stay calm and not react immediately, you become stronger. You don't let every negative comment or stressful situation throw you off track. Instead, you choose to respond thoughtfully and with purpose. John's life became easier and more fulfilling because he understood this truth. Reacting to everything around him wasn't helping him. It was draining him, it was taking away his energy, his focus, and his happiness. But when he stopped reacting to every little thing and started practicing silence, he felt more at peace. He found that by staying calm in difficult moments, he could think clearly, make better decisions, and build stronger relationships with others. One of the most important lessons from John's story is that normal reaction does not mean weakness. In fact, it is the opposite. It is a sign of emotional strength and wisdom. When you choose not to react, you are showing that you have control over your emotions. You are showing that you are not easily influenced by other people's words or actions. You are strong enough to stay calm and make decisions that are in your best interest, not driven by anger or fear. The power of normal reaction also helps you protect your inner peace. When you don't react to every challenge or negative situation, you create space for yourself. You create space to think, to reflect, and to respond in a way that aligns with your values and your goals. This allows you to stay focused on what truly matters and avoid getting distracted by things that are not important. In the end, mastering normal reaction is not just about avoiding conflict. It's about choosing how you respond to life's challenges. It's about choosing to protect your peace, your energy, and your emotional well-being. When you stop reacting to everything, you take back control of your life. You stop letting external situations decide how you feel, and instead, you choose your own emotional responses. John's story is a reminder that we all have the power to control our reactions. We all have the ability to stay calm, to pause before we speak or act, and to choose our responses with wisdom. When we practice normal reaction, we become stronger, more focused, and more resilient. We create a life that is not defined by constant emotional reactions, but by thoughtful, intentional responses. The next time you find yourself in a challenging situation, remember the power of normal reaction. Take a moment to breathe, to pause, and to think. Don't let your emotions control you. Instead, take control of your emotions and choose to respond with calmness and clarity. By doing so, you will unlock the silent power of normal reaction and begin to build a life of peace, strength, and growth.